Patrick Edwin Trowbridge came from a military family. His father, Edwin Patrick Trowbridge, was in the Army and served in World War II. His uncles also served in the military and were in the Navy. Pat was born on November 26, 1951, and had one sister, Mary Lou Trowbridge, and grew up in Wyandotte County, Kansas his whole life. Shortly after graduating from Washington High School in 1969, he continued in his family's footsteps and joined the Navy. He went to boot camp in San Diego, California, then worked and lived on the USS Cascade for all 4 years that he served. The USS Cascade was originally launched on June 6, 1942, and earned 1 battle star while serving in World War II. It was then placed in the reserves in 1951, but was recommissioned 2 years later and served for 21 years. Pat served the last 4 years the ship was abroad. He served as a hull technician and was a welder and a pipe fitter. The USS Cascade traveled to many countries on the Mediterranean Sea and Europe. They lived in Naples, Italy, Barcelona, Spain, Milford, Virginia, and Palma de Mallorca. The ship would typically stay in port for about 8 to 10 days and then head back out to sea. His experience was spent mostly at sea since they didn't stay in one place for very long. To Pat, living out in sea is definitely a different kind of experience, especially since he had lived in landlocked Kansas his whole life. However, he still had a regular job and would be working from 8 to 4 every day. Sometimes he would have longer and harder days if something was broken or needed repairs, but for the most part, if nothing was broken, then he would have free time to explore the new destinations or just hang out on the ship. They played lots of cards on ship, they wrote letters, and there was even a movie night offered every night. The Navy tried to make the experience as normal as they could. Being in the different countries was Pat's favorite part about the Navy. Spain was his favorite country and he loved Palma de Mallorca. He said it was beautiful and fun to walk around. In 1971, he was staying in eastern Rome and he got to see many of the popular sites like the Vatican. He also enjoyed Athens, Greece because of the different culture and landmarks that he got to see there. He still doesn't know what struck him to join the Navy, but he said it was a great experience and he would absolutely do it again. He returned from the Navy on January 12, 1974, and started working at Bear Corporation in Kansas City, Missouri, as a maintenance mechanic. Soon after, he met his future wife, Pamela Miller, and eventually married her on June 25, 1976. They raised 3 kids, Linda, Travis, and John. Linda was Pat's first daughter from a previous marriage. Likewise, Pam had her first child, Travis, from a previous marriage. Together, they had their only child together, John. He likes to call them a yours, mine, and ours with Pam. As a family, they took many road trips around the U.S. to see car shows. Pat built his first car in 1982. It was a 1936 Chevy, and he brought it to their first car show as a family, which was at the Cowtown Nationals in Overland Park, Kansas. They really enjoyed the experience and continued going since that day. Pat has built or rebuilt over 200 cars in his lifetime. He says that it is fun and interesting, and even though challenges always arise, he always makes it work. The family often traveled to Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska, Oklahoma, and Ohio, but also took trips to other parts of the United States. Pat and Pam have been married for over 40 years now, and they enjoy spending time with their 9 grandchildren and 1 great-granddaughter. He is always trying to keep up with the grandkids and keeps himself busy by continuing his hobby of working on cars. Thanks to traveling, cars, and his family, Pat describes his life as very fulfilling and is thankful for the many adventures that he has been on.